I'm putting one guitar on there and I'm going up there with another one.
Did you take it that way? Yeah, just one thing.
One guitar each up there, but if you've got other tools, one each. And the sound simulation line up there, so I reckon you're right.
I'm just going to put one there and one up there.
Yeah, that's all right. As long as I can get this thing. %, yeah.
Insurance out for holding it, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which one you want to get a photo with?
Probably the black one, I think. I've still got the plastic wrapper on there, mate. Still got the plastic on the pick guard. I haven't pulled that off yet. It's just slowly wearing away. I'm like, so do you normally do gigs on the weekend normally, or
Yeah.
on the weekends?
Sometimes Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Wedding.
Nice. And it's just yourself, yeah? Just acoustic mic.
Yeah, and a looper pedal. And
Beautiful.
I play in a band as well.
Yep.
I get real good playing by myself.
Doing the acoustic, yeah. More money for you as well.
Yeah. 5-minute setup. You've got one of those posts.
Yep.
Array systems. You just stack it together like that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's cool, huh? You've been doing that for a while, yeah? Yeah.
All right. I like to take a moment and just take a look at everybody. It takes a moment.
We're actually all in the same seat.
Now I know your soul. Thank you so much for allowing me that, and thank you so much for coming. My goodness. Last show of our packet written before, and we started out. Well, I started out in Sicily, where my wife and I were invited. I'm sorry, I have to say this, on a billionaire's yacht cruise. And then we took a week off in the Austrian Alps. Very rare that you get to do something like that, Sarah and I. And then right to Finland, where I rehearsed for a week and then performed with the Tampere Philharmonic. Great gig. And then I was in Eindhoven, Holland, for about 3 or 4 days to discuss a project that is going to blow you away in about 3 years. I believe it will. Then I went directly to China, where I met up with the band and the crew, and we had 9 shows booked in mainland China, which was a first for anybody. And we played 6 of them because we couldn't get the permits for 3 of them. It was a little challenging because of the events going on there and how the government issues permits. But it was amazing. And then from there we did all kinds of room stuff. Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, Jakarta, Singapore, Vietnam. I know I'm missing some. New Zealand and Australia. Tonight's the last show, and then we have about 2 weeks off. Well, the band does. I fly directly from Perth to New Jersey, where I'm playing in the band Chicago. It's a tribute concert. 2 shows, and it's going to be filmed. It's nice to kind of play that music. I only do 3 songs. And then I'm home for 10 days, and then we have 4 more shows left, and that's Bahrain and India, 3 shows in India. And then it's Christmas. And then next year's a pack. And it's nice to have a little break now and then. And in all these shows, because we kicked the tour off in May of 22, and all the shows unless it's a festival, I do the Evo experience, and I always enjoy it because if you guys are here, it means you have some kind of connection with the music, and that's really nice. It's really a blessing and privilege for me. So I like to do these open up. I'm happy to answer any questions. Nothing's off limits. I don't. What goes down in Evo stays in Evo. I don't talk to you the way I talk to the rest. So if anybody has any questions, thoughts, open up the floor.
Yeah, I'd just like to know, how did the collaboration with Polyphia for you guys happen?
The collaboration with Polyphia. Well, I'm a big guitar fan, and through the years I kind of keep my radar out on the way it's evolving and who's picking it up and what they're doing. And I've been able to see like 3 generations of players since my my time in the 80s, 90s. And it's great to see it evolve. And when bands like Polyphia, well, I don't know if there's any other band like them, but when they came out on the scene, I was fascinated. I was watching those guys and going, oh my God, because new people come into the world and they look around and they see what's going on and they say, okay, I'll take it from here. So we're all standing on the shoulders of those that came before us. And I was very fascinated with their music and just their technique. They were really getting into some cool stuff. Nothing like what I do, but I appreciate it. sometimes younger generations can go one way or another. You know, like, I don't like that guy, or yeah, he's my hero. So I was at a party, DiMarzio party at NAMM, and Tim was there. And yeah, I saw him. I didn't know how he felt or anything. So, but he cornered me, and he was very sweet, telling me he was a big supporter and a fan. One of the funny things he said was, "I'm embarrassed to tell you how many times I've watched the Tender Surrender video." He goes, "To this day, when I go like this with my hair, he got it from that video." And he asked me if I wanted to play on their record. And I thought, well, yeah, I need to hear it and feel as though I could make an appropriate contribution. You know, I don't do anything like they do. But then lockdown kicked in, and I didn't hear from them for years, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. But then Tim reached out again, and got that track. All right. And I listened to it, and it had like a 2-minute section that was just open with like a band that was going on. And I said, well, what do you want me to do here? You know, anything in particular? Whatever you want. That's the kind of answer I like. That's what I'm going to do anyway. So I decorated the whole thing with tons of biases, you know, and I sent it in. I said, here it is, do whatever you want with it. And they chopped it up and re-recorded their parts so that it sounded more inclusive, you know, organic, and even like trading and stuff. And at first it was a surprise, you know, because part of the tools that the new generation meant much of, the new generation of guitar players use, are digital tools. And they're real good at it. They get very forensic. They got like digital tweezers. They pull notes and all sorts of stuff. So I liked the way it came out. I said, great. You know, there you go. And then they asked if I wanted to be in the video. And I said, oh my God, no, I got to learn this. So when I approached the solo for my contribution in general, I listened to their record and I listened to how they are. And I always try to think, how can I contribute to this in an interesting way that works, you know? And I just felt that, you know, their style and their music is powerful. It's kind of rigid, you know. It has some sharp edges, and it's fast. And thought, well, maybe I can add a contrast to that works. So I thought, you know, I need long melodies, you know, long phrases, and that's how I kind of approached it. And yeah, I thought it came out great. The video was entertaining. It's my Bolivia story. They're really funny guys too. They come to a bunch of shows. I've seen them a bunch, and they're a lot of fun to hang out with. They're young. It just reminds me of one. They remind me sort of when I was touring with those big rock bands in the 80s, and even when I was in high school. When I was in high school, in my high school rock band, there's just a sort of a youthful innocence and zeal that accompanies everything we do, and it's nice to be around that energy.
My question is.
Oh, I'm a second.
My question is, what was the inspiration of the inlays on the guitar, on the Gem?
Which guitar?
That one.
This one? Oh, this goes way back, way back. Well, when I designed this guitar in general, it went through various inlays, and the bones of the guitar, of the Gem, have pretty much stayed the same, but you know, you mess around with certain accoutrements, and the color, and pickups, inlays. These things are kind of easy to change. And it's nice because it keeps things fresh. So I don't remember the year, but I remember thinking, okay, I want an inlay. I want something that still enables me to recognize the frets easily. Because I've had, inlays and I just get lost. So this outlines the fret markers basically beautifully. But I just wanted something, I always felt that the shape of the gem was, well, it's obviously, in my mind, an evolution of the Stratocaster, and I love Strats, but I always felt that their look was a little pedestrian, I wanted something a little more sexy. And I just shaped it a little bit, it fits really good on the body. So I wanted a unique inlay. And this just started to, we started fooling around with ideas, and there was very many iterations of this before I finally said, that's it. I mean, we worked on I moved the placement of every single one of these things meticulously so that they are exactly the way they are. Because it was fun, it's just a creative project. And that's the Tree of Life inlay. Now the Pia is a little different because the Pia has the teardrop cutaway, and the angle and the dimension of the teardrop cutaway is infused through the entire instrument. If you look at the pickup covers, designs, all of the inlay is basically proportioned and coordinated to the aesthetic and the design of the teardrop cutaway. It took a long time, even just to place the cutaways, the teardrops, just look at it. I mean, when something's right, and when it's not quite right, for a year and a half. And then it's like, maybe that's, build this. No, they're saying that, get away, get away, get away. And then finally it's like, okay, there it is. There it is. And that was it. And it reminds me of a funny story. It's a true story. So I met my wife in college, and she was always kind of intuitive, very cultured in a way. I was just like a block of wood. And she really knew me very well. When we were younger, we got our first kind of house. She was always right when I would say, well, let's try this, let's try that. She said, okay, but I said, no, I kind of like it like this. We always end up her way usually, because it was the right way. Until it came time to choose the couch. This is a true story. I said, look, I'm choosing the couch. It's going to be my couch. I don't care what you want. I'm the one that's going to be sitting, and I know what I want. Fine, brother. I'll help you find the couch. I'm going to choose the couch. She says, okay, so we took 2 full days out, and we went all over the place. And she took me first down to Melrose Boulevard, where they make custom couches. I went into this place, and she said, they custom make anything. You sit in it, they design it around you. You can choose the filling, how soft it is and whatever. I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is the couch. Yeah, you guys are going to make me this couch. Like $25,000. Nope. So we went all around looking for couches, and I wasn't quite satisfied because it was the same thing, Oh, maybe that's it. No. It was kind of like the inlay and everything else. So finally she goes, okay, there's a place down the valley. It's a couch warehouse. I'm going to take you there. This is the second day after 2 days searching for a couch. And I go into this place, and it's like this parking lot. Layers filled with couches. So I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to find the best couch now. So she goes, here you go. Choose any couch you want. Okay, so I went around. She goes, you like that one? You want to get that one? I'm like, nah, this one. And this is going on, and then finally I'm getting fatigued, and I'm like, I don't want to look for couches anymore. She's like, well, you got to pick a couch. Ah, there's a couch, right? So I go and I'm sitting in it, and I'm like, yeah, this is the couch. This is my couch. My couch. That's your couch. My couch. I'm choosing it, and this is the one I want. She goes, is that the one you want? Are you sure? No, I hate this part. Okay, now it's like the place is closing. I got 2 hours left, or like 2 minutes left. And I'm defeated. And we're leaving, and I'm just walking out, and finally, at the checkout area, there's the couch. It was everything I hoped for. Deep, had 2 layers of cushions, it came around like this, and I was just, and you know what, and I sat in that couch, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is the couch. This is the one I want. She goes, are you sure? And I said, yep. This is the couch I want. This is the couch we're getting. Do you know what she said to me? She pulled up the sold sign. She said, I bought this couch for you 2 weeks ago. I got it. We used that couch for a decade. I don't know what I told her.
It's actually a really on-point question because it's about furnishings. It's perfect. The first FP guitar, the floral pattern one, that came out, which was the first one with a vine, which was 88. That one, it was originally some curtains, right? Mm-hmm. And I've read in different places.
My wife chose.
Yeah, well, this is why it's an on-point thing. It really is perfect. But the question is, everywhere I've read is a different place. It's in your mum and dad's place, it's in the studio, it's in the lounge, it's here, it's there. I just intrigued to know where were they actually at, and how on earth did you end up talking Aberdeen and putting onto a guitar?
Well, when the same house that we were decorating, which was our first kind of house, well, it was a second, but you know, we couldn't afford designers and stuff like that, so we had to go out and find all of our own stuff, and we had to get curtains. And we went downtown to LA, which is fabric central. I mean, that's it, the garment industry. There's everything that you could find anything there. And that's how she made all my clothes too, and from the 80s. And we would go downtown, pick fabric. So in the picking of the fabric, we came across that floral pattern and really liked it, and decided to have curtains made out of it, and used it in various places. And then I just thought that would be an interesting guitar design. So we bought tons and tons. We bought all of the fabric that we could find in either as one to manufacture and just wipe them out, and made as many as we could. And that's how the floral pattern. But now, I guess I can say this, for about 3 to 4 years, my friend Mike Mesper, who's an artistic designer, has been working on a Steve Vai guitar book. It's over 1,000 pages. And the photography of all the guitars I ever owned, well, not all I ever owned, about 100. We were capped at 100. And we found, or we did, somebody did, that it's called Orientalia, is the name of the pattern, but with white background. We found a little bit of that fabric, and we're making custom guitars. 10 of the books. Very expensive, but I don't know if I answered the question.
You got that?
Any means necessary.
It's around, I think it was 94 or 95. You co-wrote a little bit with Ozzy. So what's the story behind that, and how come it didn't lead to anything further?
Well, basically, Ozzy was halfway through recording his record for Sony, and Zach was in it. And they wanted to get Ozzy involved with some other songwriters. So they came to one of my shows, Ozzy and Sharon, and they called me and they wanted to work together. So Ozzy basically flew to LA and we worked in my studio for months writing music. I would write the music and then Ozzy is very interesting. I don't know what kind of perspective people have on it, but he may look as though he's not with it. He's with it. He knows. He knows what he likes, he knows what he doesn't like. So we started to really hit it off. We were having a great time and writing all this music. And I probably offered 15 pieces of music and kind of fleshed them out in demos. And one of them, I probably get his vocals on about three of them, 3 or 4, you know. But then when it came time to start, and Ozzy and I started plotting and planning, you know, like, we're gonna make a new record, we're gonna start a band, we're gonna do all this. And in the back of my mind, I was kind of feeling like, do you really want to do this, Vai? You know, by then I had Passion Warfare under my belt, Fire Garden, Alien Love Secrets. You know, I had to make a decision. Maybe Fire Garden wasn't out yet, but I thought, I'll give it a go. You know. So we flew to New York, and Michael Beinhorn was the producer. He came in and he listened to everything, and we started talking. And he wasn't really a warm and fuzzy guy, you know. And I have a certain way of working. You know, I like to record in my home, my guitars, me approving or not approving. That's the only way I work. And for a lot of producers, you know, that doesn't fly. But I don't care. It's fine. I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And I'm not opposed to working with someone, of course, and I have many times. I did White Snake, I worked with Mike Clinton. He was tough, too. He got better stuff out of it. But we were in New York, and we started to work on the stuff. And then I got a call. They called both Ozzy and I into the room, and they said, Sony doesn't want you to start a new record. They want you to take anything that you like from what you did with Vai and go finish the record that you started, but you're halfway through, because you're halfway through, and Vai is expensive, you know. And so that was the end of the project. But they did take a song, My Little Man, and that was fantastic. They did a great job with that. And nobody's recording anything, right? So, I think I have it on here. This is one song. Long version. Anyway. I have on the shelves all of the demos, and there's enough there for at least one record, but I don't have any control. I just own the songs. I don't own the recordings. So I opened my big mouth in the press not too long ago, and I mentioned all this, and the next thing you know, it's Steve Vai sitting on a Ozzy Osbourne record, an unreleased Ozzy Osbourne record, which sort of is true, but not quite. So there's a lot of great stuff. Some of it, like I said, has Ozzy on it, but it's demos. You know, really need to be fleshed out. And it was kind of a relief for me when they said that, you know, they were calling up. I love Ozzy, but I can't see myself after all that time playing Paranoid. I love the song, but I have moved on. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Personally, it's a great legend behind the legend in front of the Steinway.
Oh, you like that? All right.
Look, first, a couple of questions I've got. Firstly, Gash. What an amazing album. Sounds freaking awesome. Yeah, some great songs in there. And there's some serious story behind it too. And you know, I've sort of read the story behind it, but I mean, is there any more to the story that we don't really know if anybody hasn't read it?
I think I said it all in the liner notes.
You did.
Yeah. And I stand by it all. One, maybe a little part of just as a brief overview. 31 years ago, many years ago, I had a friend in New York. His name was John Sambar. Old, hardcore, New York biker, Italian, funny, crazy, lovable, insane, and unpredictable. I mean, this guy, he was crazy, and we loved him. And when he was 21, he was riding his dirt bike along the power lines, and he got lost, so he climbed one of the electrical towers, and to see where he was, and the electricity arced and went through his body, and he fell 60 feet onto a barbed wire fence that caught fire, and miraculously survived, but 60% of his body was covered in burn scars, and that's how he got the nickname Gash. You know, it's just his body. So I mean, you can see it covered there. You can't see him, but he doesn't have an ear.
Well, you sort of can.
Yeah. So he moved out to California, and we just started riding together. In the 90s, early 90s, the biker culture in Southern California was big. And I had grown up around bikers. You know, my brother was a biker. He had friends in Hells Angels, all these bikers. And I always wanted a Harley. I used to build mini bikes, motorbikes. I could never afford a real motorcycle. And I moved out to, my brothers had Harleys, and I moved out to California to work with Frank. And the first thing I bought for nothing was a little 350 Honda. That was my mode of transportation. And I loved it. Pia and I would go up into the hill. We rode it all over. But it was a piece of junk. And eventually I saved and saved and saved, and I bought a nicer Honda. And right at that time, I had joined Dave Roth's band. And part of the contract was I wasn't allowed to ride a motorcycle. Right? It was too dangerous, too risky. Sometimes that little finger thing. Tens of millions of dollars, and get a lot of people out of work, you know, all that. So I had the bike parked in the garage, and of course I had to get out of the house, you had to go through the garage, so I had to pass it 30 times a day. And every time I passed it, you know, you create quick little stories in your head. The story went, one of these days I'm going to ride you. One of these days, you know, that over and over and over, you know. And then finally, the day that I left Dave's band, when I returned went out to Pasadena, and I told him I was quitting, and I drove back and I walked through the garage and my eyes caught the bike, and the little voice said, one of these days, I'm going to run. Hey, wait a minute, I could ride you today. Hey, wait a minute, I can buy a Harley. Hey, wait a minute. And I bought 7 Harleys. That was my first pleasure. I don't even have a car. And I went through that period of the biker culture, and Gash was a big part of it. And one of the things that we go on all these great trips. I mean, when you're a motorcycle enthusiast, there's a feeling that's just so amazing. You know, it's a feeling of joy, you know, freedom on the road, and with your friends, and you're just in the open road. It's like no troubles. It's fantastic. So you can hear bikers wax on and on about their love of the bike, you know. But we did all sorts of trips, crazy adventures, wild stuff. It was fantastic. But I didn't feel like I had the music that I wanted to hear while I was riding. The closest I could get was like Steppenwolf or something like that, you know. But I thought, I have to go into this. It was just a pull. Something said, go in the studio and record a record so that you can have the music you want when you're riding. So I knew it needed to be really straight ahead, just rock and roll, no tricks, there's no extended guitar solos, they're all very short. I wanted it to be really melodic. I wanted it to have good melody, driving. I wanted it I wanted it to sound like the way we felt when we wrote. Uplifting, empowering, joyful, heavy, cool, so you kind of, you plant that seed. That's how you create anything. You create an intention first. And that's what I did. And when that happened, I went in 1 week, I just blasted this whole record out. And I didn't have a singer for it. I tried singing it. It was an abysmal disaster. I love my voice, but it's not a rock and roll voice. And Gash wasn't a professional singer. But I could hear in his voice that there was, every now and then just even when he would scream, something in that voice, And every now and then he'd throw out like a Led Zeppelin, "Woo, yeah." And I dragged him into the studio, and I couldn't believe what came out of his mouth. That's it. And the thing about Gash was he didn't know how to be a rock star. He wasn't trying to be. That's him. I mean, there were a few people in our life, that were as colorful, as outrageous, as unpredictable, and as lovable. All that stuff I wrote, you have to listen. I'll go on the record and say I'm an authority on rock and roll lead singers because I've worked with so many of them, and there's a DNA that they possess. To stand on a stage and to have a command over the audience, to permeate everybody with your ego, and to be really truly engaging. That's like it has to come from a person. There's a DNA there. And you also need to have some kind of a voice. You can see the rock star DNA in some artists that the voice may not be there, but it kind of doesn't matter. There's enough. Like Dave Roth, he's got the rock star DNA more powerfully than anybody I've met probably, except Gash. He had it. But Dave's voice could be very nice sometimes, very perfect for what he was doing, but real, powerful, kind of, that's what David Coverdale. David Coverdale was like his voices. But Gash had both of these things. He had incredible rock star DNA and an incredible voice. I just tapped it. He didn't know he could sing. It's totally raw. Totally raw what he did. It was totally him. And I got 8 songs into it because I was just kicking off on Sex and Religion. I was actually auditioning people for Sex and Religion. And it was great. We had the music, we listened to it when we were riding, and I wanted to finish it. I wanted to do a couple more songs. And it was put down really fast. It was like stream of consciousness. Sometimes I didn't know what the ending of the song was going to be until I got there. That's how fast it went. My plan was basically to fulfill my obligations with Sony and deliver Sex and Religion, and then I was going to go back and work on the Gash stuff. But he was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident because he was doing one of his stupid things that he did. And maybe I'm being a little harsh because it's the thing. But I'm glad I captured it. And when that happened, I just put the record on the shelf. I was so disheartened. And I just let it sit there for 31 years.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah. And then through the years, I started listening to it, and it brought me back. And I just kept thinking, why am I listening to this so much? And it was because it's a good record. That's it. And I thought, okay, now's the time. And I just released it. I was so surprised at the reception of it. The press, they were glowing. I mean, I got better reviews from the rock press than I do my music. That, straight ahead. And the great thing about that record, some people say, oh, it sounds like rock, it sounds like Whitesnake bass. Nothing, you know, it is, but it's not. Whenever I was recording with any of those other rock bands, there's a huge committee of people that have a say in everything you do, from the Davids, you know, to the producer. You know, I remember I had one producer come in and we were doing and you know, he heard one of my squeals, you know, harmonics, pinch harmonics. He goes, what's that? And I said, oh, it's a pinch harmonic. And I thought he was interested in how I did it. You know, I said, well, you kind of take the pick and squeeze it. And he's going, no, what is it? It sounds like a screaming whale. Well, it's part of my style, you know. And he goes, well, take it out. They're all over the whole record. It's part of my style. Take them all out. I said, well, fuck you. That was the end of it. They stayed. But and then you have to deal with the label and the producers, the engineers, and the expectations of the fans. All this stuff is a huge committee with anything that you try to do. That Gash record had a committee of one, me. It was a glorious project of freedom.
One listen, you know, just going through the album once, and I fell in love with it straight away.
Yeah, it's easy
I could use
listening.
that drag racing.
Yeah,
The
right,
bike.
right.
Which actually leads me to the next question. Every muso has some sort of classic car. But you have bikes. Do you have any?
Well,
any,
I went through a bike phase.
any killer car?
Well, I have one. I have my car that I have. I bought in 1986,
Good.
and it's a 1985 360 ZX
Yeah.
Turbo.
Okay.
And it was it's the first year that they have the digital. Matter of fact, the song "Lights Are On" from Modern Primitive. I took all of the voices. Because the car goes, left door is open. You know, fuel level is low. You know, lights are on. And I put them all through the song. You'll hear it tonight when the song ends. It says, so I used all that and that from my car, and I drove it. I love driving it. It's a small little sports car, and it's turned into a classic. And at one point, years ago, I had it rebuilt. I had to buy another car just like it, and it's a dope looking car. It's black and green. It's got Alien Love Secrets green, and the inside is completely redone. It's like a plush. Man cave. Yeah. And I love driving. It's fast and
Now it
has the
starts dribbling.
I have the engine worked on and everything, but I don't really drive it now for the past years because my favorite car is Uber. I just much prefer sitting in the back and doing a chauffeur. I don't know why. And I haven't ridden my bikes in a while because of my shoulder, but I plan on, and it's no fun to ride in LA, really. So I plan, I would probably pick up a couple more Harleys later at some point, perhaps. But no, I don't have a.
Some people want to move on. Just call me.
One quick one. Will you be breaking out the Gretsch tonight?
No. No, I recorded Little Pretty on the Gretsch, but it wasn't a friendly live guitar for me.
Okay.
Because first of all, it doesn't say Ibanez. And I am a proud Ibanez endorser. But more seriously, it doesn't fit with my body.
Yeah.
And it feeds back. We couldn't stop it from feeding back. And we went through, Doug and I, my tech, went through probably 24 guitars. Because I needed a semi-hollow.
Yeah.
Because the chords in Little Pretty are very rich. And a solid body just doesn't, the notes need their own little space, their own zip code, you know? And solid bodies do something different to those kinds of rich chords. So I was ready to give up and go with a solid body, but then Doug suggested the John Schofield, you know, and because it's a very big body, you could stuff it, and it wasn't feeding back. That was the problem. They were all feeding back. You couldn't control it. So I really liked it, and it worked. So I used it for the first leg of the tour, but it was a burst, and it's way too long. So I have this, I've been working with David Von Villen on these swirls. He does these magnificent jobs. The new Ibanez Pias, bombs, he's doing them in papers. They're just all good. So he took, I got another one of the Schofields, and he dipped it, and that's what I'm using. And if somebody reminds you in sound check, I'll show you the back, because it's a work of art. It's the way it did it. So what was the original question? Oh, so that's, yeah.
Well, now it was just a zapper. Now it's working with Frank. Zapper.
Oh, wow. That was surreal, amazing, hilarious, intense, scary. You know, it was all those things. I was 18 when I started working for him, transcribing music, and then when I was 20, I joined the band for 3 years, toured and made records, and then worked a little bit after that. But then he kind of got onto the synclavier, changed it, so I moved on. But yeah, Frank was, a day doesn't go by that I don't miss him or employ various things that I learned while working with him, because it's Frank.
Yeah.
But the thing, my biggest takeaway from Frank was he was an explosion of freedom. You know, he was very independent. He was very independent. And Frank would get an idea to do something, and then he would just do it. He never made excuses, and he never expected somebody to do it for him. He just did it. So I was very young and impressionable, and I thought, okay, well, that's how you do it. You get an idea, and you just do it. And that has served me very well.
The Billy the Mountain era?
No, that was before me. I started with Tinseltown Rebellion, You Are What You Is. I'm probably on 15, I don't even know, maybe 20 Zappa records. One more?
Tēnā koe e te rangatira, he mihi mai oha, he mihi nunui, kia koe, mai tōku whānau, mai Aotearoa. Greetings to you. It's such a blessing and an honour for me and my family to be here and see you today. My question is probably more on a personal level, I guess. Your son Julian said you don't mind deep and meaningful questions. I guess I've grown up with my brother listening to your music, playing your music, many fond memories of your music growing up as teenagers. My question, I guess, is do you have any advice or any wisdom or encouragement for those of us who are musicians, but we actually have day jobs to still continue to grow in creativity in your gifting? Because the reality for some of us is we still have to go and work at this job
Sure.
and that job.
Yeah.
That's my question.
You got it. Yeah, it's not an uncommon question or predicament that people can find themselves in where, and it's all across the board. Some people go to work and that job that they do, they really like. They love it. It feels good to them. It's natural. It's actually their function, you know. They love it. And then they experiment with other things for fun, like painting or cooking or guitar or something like that. I think everybody should have something creative and work. You can't not be creative. You know, you can squeeze off your creativity to a a very small degree, but you can never eliminate it. It has to be in play. And you can surrender to it completely, and that's what some artists or some people do in their work. You know, they're completely connected to their uniquely creative impulses, and they just move with them. And this usually results in high quality manifestation of what they're doing. Anything, be a bricklayer, the guy that made these tuning pegs, you know, whatever it is, when you love what you're doing, there's a quality that flows into it, and it feels good to you. And this is your function, you know, and we need that. So some people, people that are musicians for their whole life, you know, from the beginning. You don't do anything else. You know, that's the way it was for me. I just never made a choice. I never had to make a choice. It was always, I like music, that's it. I don't mind what happens. I thought when I graduated high school, I'd become a high school music teacher because I loved my high school music teacher. It taught me everything. It unlocked the secrets of the musical universe. And I wanted to do that for other people. But the universe had different plans, I guess. But so I never questioned, should I do this or should I do something else? So some people, that's just a natural pull. It sounds like an advantage, but then there's people that their interests shift through life. And this is fine too. You know, this is totally fine. They may be in one field for a little while, and they may be independent, and they may do. The question is, are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you giving it your attention and quality? So, to be a musician for life is not a choice. It's a compunction. And it's not impossible for people that aren't necessarily that committed to make a decision later and take off in the music field or any field. And this happens all the time. I see it all the time. Usually when that happens, it's sort of like my day job, I got this, but I want to write some songs, and all of a sudden you're in a band and it gets on the radio and it blows up and you're selling millions of records and everything for a little while, and then the trends change and you really don't change and you're forgotten. You know, that can happen, and then you go back to doing something else. Or you can continue. But finding the balance between the two worlds of working and playing, you know, that seems to be your question. So there's a couple of things I could suggest that might be helpful. First and foremost, enjoy when you're playing. Enjoy what you choose to do when you're giving your attention to the guitar or your music, whatever it is. Be sure that it's something that resonates with you, that it's something you really feel good about, something that is, like, has a pull, as opposed to something that's being dictated to you by a world that believes you need to do this in order to be successful. This is an illusion, because what happens if you do that, you can, I've seen it happen, you can become very successful, but you won't be fulfilled, because the only way to truly feel fulfilled is to express your uniquely creative impulses. That may be guitar, it might, whatever it is, you have them. You have a uniquely creative insight into something. And the earmarks of that something are your interest in it, your feeling that I got this, you know, it just makes sense to you. You can't understand why it doesn't make sense to others, you know? And the feeling of enthusiasm that you feel when an inspired idea comes to you. Like for me, the jet was made to come through me because it just was, you know? And it showed up in me with all of those earmarks. Ah, I'm interested in that, enthusiastic about it, and I know I can do it. Of course, you know. So this is confidence, there's no fear in it, there's no concern about the future. This is your note, you know. This is the thing that is needed in the world, is for you to find this within yourself and do it. Imagine that. What's needed in the world is your joyful manifestations. So, I got off track. Okay, so finding that balance can be a little slippery slope sometimes. So here's what I would suggest. Consistency is very helpful because consistency breeds consistency. So what I mean by that is, okay, so let's say you have yes, we have responsibilities. I was fortunate enough that when I was young, I just decided. So I navigated my economics and my responsibilities, my financial responsibilities through music situations, teaching, giving lessons, doing session work, working with this guy, doing this tour, and then finally it snowballed. But some people have responsibilities and they have to have a job and they have to do their job and then find time somehow with all their other responsibilities, being a family member, being a friend, you know, having to deliver certain things. Where do I find the time to play the guitar, you know? So here's what I would suggest. Take your schedule, your daily, weekly schedule, and examine it and block off those times where you know you can't just stop everything you're doing and play the guitar, you know. But earmark certain areas, and this doesn't go for just playing the guitar. This is for anybody that has an interest or a hobby in something that they want to develop and nurture and grow. Find a time that you can call your own. Now this could be anything. Only you can decide what that is. Maybe it's 1 hour every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Maybe you get up 2 hours early every day. My last manager, Ruta Sapetis, who was my manager for 25 years. I loved her. One day I asked her, I said, well, what are you doing these days? She goes, well, I decided to get up 2 hours early every day and start writing. So what are you writing? Well, I'm writing a book. It's a docudrama about Lithuania and Stalin and all this stuff. Great. She had to quit managing. She has 4 books on the New York Times number 1 bestseller list. This book blew up. She's a world-renowned author now. Sold millions of books. And because she decided to get up 2 hours early every day and do something that she really enjoyed doing. So it doesn't matter when you pick that time. Only you'll know what that is. But my suggestion is to be fiercely consistent with it. Some of you might work out, you go to the gym, and it's a part of your schedule. You know what it feels like when you miss that. It's like, it doesn't feel good. You should not feel good if you miss your private time. You know, you have to make that time your own and be consistent with it. Of course, emergencies and stuff like that happen. You got to move it. But in that period that you choose, that you make your own, give it your full attention, your full loving attention. Forget about the future, because you don't know anything about the future. All your dreams and fantasies of being successful, forget them. Okay? Because they either will happen or they won't. And in either way, whether they happen or they don't, they will not satisfy you. As a matter of fact, I've seen the exact opposite happen. People who their whole focus and goal is when I have $25 million in the bank, when I'm on the cover of all the magazines, when I've got the Grammys, all the gold records, when everybody knows who I am, then I can be happy. And they get there, and they actually got there somehow, and they took their miserable self with them. And fame, that kind of fame and fortune can compound your foibles. Meaning, if you're miserable before you're rich and famous, you become a real miserable son of a bitch. And the opposite is true too. So forget about the future. You don't know anything about it. The only thing you are in control of is your now. And that's the only thing I thought about through my whole career, is what do I like doing now? And everything happened as a consequence of that. I didn't fight for anything in the music. I didn't fight for anything. I never had any challenges. Of course, I had life challenges, but everything in the music business just seemed to come to me as a surprise and a delight because of the one thing. I love doing this. My goals were short term. By the end of the day, I'm going to be able to play this. And then when I could, it made every day Christmas. You know, and that was enough. And everything came from that because I developed the skills and the tools. So what I suggest is when you take that time and it's yours and you're sitting in it, be friendly with yourself. Don't criticize yourself because nobody cares. The approach is nobody cares what I'm doing here except me, and that's enough. And use it to be brutally creative. Use it to just, what do you have to lose? What are you going to fit into? That's a fear. That's a fantasy, trying to fit in. Whereas you'll be much better served when you do exactly what your creative impulses dictate. That's joy. It actually is. It's the feeling of joy. Every second of the high was joy. Even the hardship where I was cursing. Damn, but I knew I was going to get it. I knew it because I saw it. And that's all you need. It was one of those inspirations that came to me because it was meant for me. And I honored it. And you need to honor your creative impulses, protect them, and nurture them because your joy is there. You know? And if you can do that, turn off your cell phone, turn off the internet, lock the door, and create those little joyful goals. Goal. That consistency will serve you very well because that's your time. And it's okay to be a little selfish with your time. It's actually important. It makes you a better person when you're expressing your creative impulses. It makes you happier because when you don't, it leads to depression. It's like that if you're in a relationship, very obvious to see in a relationship. The relationship starts out, everybody's on their best behavior, placating each other, they don't want the others to know exactly, they don't want to know that about me, so I'll hold that. Well, I know he or she likes that, I don't really like that, but I'll lead them to believe that I like it and I'm okay with it. It doesn't last. Because at some point you have to be you. And you should. And eventually, it's the same thing, eventually it leads to the compromising of your freedoms. And that never works. So it's the same thing with your creative expression. It will never be worth it to compromise your creative impulses. And I'll also add that sometimes, and many times, it's not just you that will create the best manifestation. Sometimes it's nice to find people to work with, so maybe that in that time, that's where you're going to rehearse every Friday night at whatever it is. So working with others and matching with them their creative impulses, like you complement each other, So my good idea is made better by somebody else's good idea that sees the flaws in what I thought was a good idea. And that's how great songwriting goes, and great businesses, great anything. Politics, but so try that. Experiment with consistency, and also be vigilant with the quality of the thoughts that you're thinking during that period. Because it's easy to go off into realms of negative fantasy about how much you suck, how everybody's better, why you're really doing this, and nobody's going to understand, or I could fail. What if I fail? This is taking up too much time. If that's the case, quit. You'll be better off. But if you can catch yourself doing that, creating negative commentary about yourself, business, or anything like that, if you can catch yourself doing that, then you could change your mind about it. You can't change your mind until you realize that you have the power to change your mind. Because the only true freedom you have for eternity is to choose the kind of thoughts you want to think. Nobody can do that for you, but your entire life that you live and work and navigate in is based on that. And this is why it's so important to enjoy what you're doing, be friendly with yourself while you're doing it. You are worthy of it. Don't worry about the outside world or the future at all. And then report back to me in 2 years. Thank you. Organizes us. Photos.
Yes, we're
So
going
I
to
think what we have, if you have a guitar and you'd like me to sign it, bring it with you on the line. But if you have anything else that you'd like me to sign, we've got to lay it out someplace because it takes too much time to go through everyone. But I'll sign it.
Thank you, Steve. Alrighty, guys. So if you have one item you would like to get signed that's not a guitar, now's the time to place it on these black tables over here. If you have a guitar you want to get signed, take it out of its case, and you can bring it up to Steve, and we'll take photos with it. We're going to have one person on one side and one person on the other. So if you came here by yourself, find a partner. And we're going to start up by
That's a nice one. Thanks, bro.
just a few.
Yeah, just a few. Why not? Yeah, got it. Nice, bro. That's in good nick. Nice. Yeah, sweet axe. Yep.
Alrighty, so yeah. Alrighty, so the line will start right here and it's going to loop around over there. So don't worry, everyone will get their time. So the first person in line.
Hey, loving it. Yeah. Hey, what else? LNG.
Oh my god.
I love this one. How long you had that?
20 years?
Lovely.
2000.
It's a good swirl as well.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah. What you got? Oh, you got black,
Couple pairs, mate.
white, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got 91. It says on there. It's 91.
I've got one, but
That's
it's
a
not,
good
the
nick.
swirl's not as good as that.
Have you on?
Yeah. It's a really nice swirl.
I actually got it and just put it away.
Yeah.
It's good.
But who has the? You know what? Who has the pen? Because I was meant to bring a
Oh,
pen. That's like I ran out of time.
Can you imagine?
20. Love it.
Beautiful. Ooh.
Oh, hello.
Nice axes there,
I
hey?
nearly got. I
Oh,
nearly
you pulled out
bought
some
one of
weapons
those.
here.
Yeah, I tried to get one there. You can't get them anywhere.
I didn't know they did one in this. Do you know that? Because when I went for some days,
That was the best
seller.
seller.
Did they?
Yeah, I know.
Take some photos.
LNG.
Close.
87. First on first. Who's got text up? You got text up.
And
Oh, that's gonna be
step off this way, please.
I need to partner.
Look at me.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I don't have a pen either. Terrible.
Thank you. Hey, fella.
I think so.
2 or 3. Oh, yes.
Every texture in the world.
I like the green, mate. It's nice and green.
Envy green.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh yeah. Going alright? You got married here?
Oh, that's so cool. You can step right up right here too.
Yeah.
How are you, Stevie? Good to see you, bro. Just in the back of the head. It's not far, man. Yeah.
So make sure you're groups of 2 or 3. Find a partner if you're solo.
You want to hold one as well? Sure.
Yeah, can I, no, I'm going to do it. Is that alright? Because I just do mojo, mate.
Tarmania. Okay, look at me. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Enjoy the show.
Old school.
You got them both down the road?
Yeah, got them done. Got them done. Yes! I still left the plastic on there. It'll come off eventually, mate. Oh, man, they play unreal. To play, they're just awesome. Just really good, man. Yeah. Nice axe.
Holy shit. I get like nervous.
You know what I mean?
But I think it's excitement.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I think it's excitement, yeah?
You said you got married here.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, man. We got married there and we had the reception.
Oh,
here,
there,
and
yeah.
I was going to see, like, we got a photo of us here, so I'm going to have the wedding album. I'm going to put it up next to the wedding photo.
100.
Oh, you'll be in it.
Yeah, I'll be in it.
Oh, he's my best man.
There. Make sure we don't get them all mixed up. Look at the cases.
I love seeing all that.
It's cool, huh?
And then handmade drone, doing the hands, so don't damage your guitar. That's alright.
Done this before.
I bet.
No, I'm just.
That's nice. That's a nice axe, yeah.
I've never seen one of them in the flesh. They're even more impressive in the flesh, aren't they?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that lights up there. Yeah, good, got them done, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I certainly can. Yeah, it's good. Oh, that's where I got mine too, on the back of the headstock.
I didn't even think I was busy getting all this sorted, so you were both yours done?
Yeah, I got them done, yeah. Just went up with the two. Sorry? Went up with the two of them, got them done.
In saying that, it was actually a really easy game. It was actually quite close. Yeah, so in this one, I forgot it. But then I thought,
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
Good set, yeah, 100%.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
In the photo, I probably won't go up for a while, eh?
I'm just thinking get some water. It's going to be a little while, isn't it? Go get a drink and come back. And take these down, yeah? Is that what we're thinking? Is it what? Yeah.
I'm probably going to drop my guitars home before the concert.
Wait, we've got someone picking them up?
Yeah, good move, good move. You don't want them hanging around, mate.
No.
I couldn't imagine if anyone tried that shit here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, every jumped. Oh, yeah.
Not now, it'll be in the future.
100%, yeah. I think everyone else would jump on.
Yeah, they're too much respect.
Yeah.
I think that guy had like 91.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. I've still got the plastic on there, mate. It's going to wear down naturally, and the way you play it, it's going to wear down. Yeah, it's coming out good. Awesome. black
That's
one's
the one
nice
you've
too,
been
right?
looking at too, to get as well.
It's just lovely. Gold in it.
Yeah, it's nice, bro.
I'm stoked you got a sign today.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome, man.
It won't be long for Fretball to start winding down pretty soon. It doesn't take long, bro. Yeah. I hit them pretty hard, you know. But yeah, it's nice, bro. Yeah. And the black one, I just got the black one too. I love the black one. Like since I got the black one, I've just been playing that. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, welcome, bro.
I'm really happy for the one today.
Yeah, likewise, 100%.